The brown boat people are coming. We are on the brink of civil war. This country will look like Vietnam in 5 years' time. There's a lot of interesting and intense opinions going around the UK political scene right now. But I think all of them fundamentally miss the point of what is actually the problem within our country. See, I don't think it's a secret that every single human in this nation realizes there's something massively wrong with our political system, or at least with our political landscape. Everything seems to be getting more expensive. Everything feels a little bit harder and more emotionally taxing than maybe it used to. And there's this atmosphere of anxiety and anger around non-stop. And a lot of different people have a lot of different opinions about why that's the case. Everything from those brown boat people who keep on coming and they keep eating all our resources, and on the other side, you have people saying, well, if we just, if we got all the big billionaire boys and we just give them a dirty chop, maybe all their money would fall out their pockets and into ours, and it would fix everything. Now, while I appreciate the sentiment behind a lot of these ideological points, I think they're really missing what is causing the downfall of the UK political atmosphere. See, in this country, we have a lot of different political parties to choose from. And in a nation where you have people with all kinds of different opinions, that's really important. But however, Labour, Conservatives, Reform, the Greens, Lib Dems, whoever you want to say, any of the big mainstream political parties, the problem is none of them, and I mean none of them, have a true objective moral centre. They are all opportunists utilising outrage, fear and public ignorance in order to gain influence and votes and power. Because for me and you, politics means, well, can I feed my kids this month? Or can I sell my car and not get taxed to oblivion? But to the political elite, that class of people, a lot of times this is a game. It's a game for power, for influence, for recognition, for getting their name etched in history. Not all of them, this is going to be good eggs everywhere you go, but for a lot of them, it's a game. And they might take it seriously, like they want to do a good job, but the problem is they literally can't do a good job. And the reason for that is because they lack the moral foundation necessary to do a good job. In this country, we used to have what's known as Christianity being a big influencing factor in politics. But a lot of people went online and they were like, I'm gonna watch some TV show now. And at some point in some random TV show somewhere, someone will say, separation of church and state. And they're like, yeah, I don't like religion out of politics. Well, my friend, if you take the moral center out of politics, you know what you're going to have? Immoral politics. Lying, cheating, stealing, being selfish and greedy. These are things that politicians who don't have a moral foundation tend to do. Yeah, well, I don't want to live under your oppressive laws. Christianity is the reason we have some just laws. And over the last 50 to 100 years or so, slowly but surely, Christianity and the Christian church has lost its influence and political power in this country. And the result of that is a nation without a solid identity. People are clasping for something. And that's why you have the race people on one side who are like, Britain for the British, or England for the English, or whatever you want to say, right? Like, it's ridiculous. Half of your football team is black, mate. You can't... English doesn't mean what it used to mean anymore. And that's the point with trying to find an identity in ethnicity or any of these things. They're all made up. They're not real. And so you have that group over there, and you have the other group on the other side who are like, well, if we all just hold hands and sing Kumbaya, and if we jump in a circle, and we're just like, no billionaires, then everything will be a utopia. But there is no mainstream political voice advocating for the fact that if we don't have a moral center in this country, an objective one, not what one dude says or another dude says or this woman says over there, but something objective outside of all the voices and the opinions saying this is right, this is wrong, well, you are going to end up with a country in chaos. The reason why things feel so difficult is because when it comes to finances, for example, macroeconomics, you have all powerful people, powerful players in the banking sector and in the government, and all these people who are motivated by greed and self-interest. They're not motivated for serving people like a good Christian would be if they actually follow Jesus' teachings. And when you have people acting like that, you have consequences, and your financial system goes to crap. The reason people don't value community anymore or fall so deeply into depression is because they don't understand that the human being has value and worth beyond whatever random productivity they can pump out. That is capitalist worship. Garbage that is crept into the UK system, the UK political system, that your worth comes from your work somehow, right? When you introduce yourself to someone, hey, what's your name and what do you do? Right? Because somehow that is what defines us. Not what's your name and what do you love, right? These are not questions that we ask because no one gives a damn. They're like, what, how much tax are you paying? What job you got, bro? And what? This is what happens, right? If you can't trust your neighbor because you're like, that brown over there, he's looking mighty boat people. He's looking like a boat people, and I don't like them boat people. Or you might be like, those boomers, that Margaret, I bet she bought a house for 2 pence, and I'm slaving for my right? If you have these thoughts towards your neighbors all the time, you're not going to have community. If you don't have community, you're going to be depressed. You're going to feel like something is missing from your life. If you're constantly grinding because the god of capitalism has told you that your worth is in what you do and how much money you make, you're going to feel like crap all the time, right? If powerful people act from greed and evil and self-interest, they are going to destroy the country that you're in. And this is why the political landscape and the social landscape in this country is so effed. It's completely effed, because people took Christianity out and they thought they could make their own moral value system and place that at the center of legislative opinion. And guess what? It's going to crap. It's not working, because the Bible is true, Jesus is king, and God is real. And Christians, if you're watching this, you need to get political, because if you are not going to be political, if you're not going to stand up and say, hey, actually, we want these laws based on Christian morals and principles, guess what? The world around you is going to dictate what it looks like, and they are not better for it. This idea that for some reason Christians, your pastor tells you this, don't get involved in politics because God's in control and you shouldn't be involved and let the devil handle all that. No, don't listen to him, man. I don't know what he's chatting. The only reason we have a country where you can openly preach the gospel is because Christians have some degree, some small degree left of political power. And if you give it up, you're going to make your life and the lives of everyone who doesn't believe horrible. And if you're listening to this and you're not a Christian, you're like, I don't want those robe wearing, those acoustic guitar playing little people dictating to me what I do. Well, it's going to be either us, or it's going to be some dude who thinks that you're not worth anything, who thinks that you don't have any value, that doesn't care about you or your family or your well-being, right? But read the Bible. Jesus and real Christians do. We do care about you. We do want you to have a good, successful life. We do want you to provide for your kids and for your wife and to have a nice life and to be generous. We do want these things for you. But people who don't have a moral center, a true belief in God, don't give a shit about you. And so you should also support Christian party. Here in this country, we do have a Christian political party. It's very small, but I'll link it down below in the description if you want to go have a look at their site. Try to support them. I'm a long-term resident, I'm not a national, so I can't vote for them, but I'll do activism like this. If you are a national, you can vote for them at the next election, at the local elections, right? Or you can donate to their page, or you could do activism as well. The point is, as Christians, we need to get more involved in British politics if we don't want this country to absolutely implode. And trust me, if the Christian population in this country keeps declining, and if we do not take an active role in politics, the UK will continuously get worse and worse and worse and worse. So if you care about this country, and you're Christian or you're not Christian, you need to support God, the Bible, and Jesus, and push that back at the heart and core of Christian politics. Demand from your politicians, demand that they have a moral center, that they are people who truly follow God. Check their lives to see if they're representative of that, or if they're just lying and scheming and taking bribes of people. I don't want to hear any of that. Get out, right? You're going to destroy this country. And if you disagree with any of the things I said, well, come and comment down below. I'll be happy to argue against you. But I know how it'll go. It'll go, you say X, Y, and Z, and then I'll be like, yeah, well, why do you think that? And then you'll say X, Y, and Z, and I'll be like, apart from your opinion, is there anything to this? Is there any objectivity to what you're saying? And either you will dance around to another subject, or, well, you'll admit that actually your moral position is subjective, in which case it's irrelevant. So I hope I didn't come across as too condescending. I know that I can, but it's extremely important if we want this country's political sphere to actually become something that works for people again, that cares about the least of us, that provides opportunities for growth and expansion, and that puts love, peace, Jesus Christ at the center of everything we do in UK politics.